Thank you very much, and thank you for the panelists to have come in here. I know that we are now between you and your lunch, which is why I said that we are going to change the way we are going to do this. I've not even asked permission from these gentlemen here, but I do hope that they'll all support me for whatever it is that we are doing currently. Is that okay? The reason is that one, it is almost lunchtime. Two, many of you have been sitting here for some time, so I do expect some participation from you now. And three, if we find that there is value, we'll need to know that some people have got value. So you all agree to kind of participate? Yes, no, yes. That's not a good enough voice. I know you've not had lunch. Yes, Amam Illai. Okay. So thank you very much. The topic is interesting because we're talking about small cities. We are trying to see where is the value getting created. We are talking about regional players getting to be bigger. The national players also thinking regionally to be able to get bigger, stuff like that. It's also a topic because, like politics, right? Whatever happens the rest of the country is not necessarily true for this part of the world. Similarly, for retail businesses also, and correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, what happens in the rest of the country is not necessarily the only way it will work here in this place. Is that right? Wrong? So I do have a request for each one of you will have one. The request, therefore, is that we will ask questions. Each one of them have agreed that they are going to tell you stories or they are going to tell you experiences that they've had in their own businesses. The idea is that at every point of time, they are going to give you short answers. But having said that, if it's an answer that appeals to us, okay, I would expect you to clap your hands at least. And at some point, you may want to ask questions that we'll keep for the end. Is that okay? So if it's something that they've told that you think will be useful for your business, do feel free to clap your hand. If there is no clapping happening at all, then we know what they are saying is not going to be applicable to your business. You're not going back with any value from this panel. Acceptable? Yeah. Okay, so it's a challenge for each one of you. The challenge is that we'll need to hear the most amount of claps when we ask those questions. Okay, but these are business questions. This is not frivolous questions because we want to add value to us. It's not going to be entertainment. So do not think that now these guys are going to crack jokes and we can fall down and laugh. The other part is, if it is too much of English, we can switch over to Tamil because all the gentlemen here, I hope, can speak in Tamil other than Shushanto. Shushanto, you understand Tamil, you don't speak Tamil. You don't understand Tamil also. Okay, so you can ask him in Tamil, he'll try and answer to you in Bengali. Okay. But having said that, I think we can go on to the session. So the ground rules are clear to everybody? Yes? We'll try and wind this in about 30 minutes time so that we can go for our lunch and come back fresh. So we've got only that amount of time. So the first question, I'll start off with, who is the youngest in this place? I think it's Gautam from the looks of it. Yeah, Sohail wants to be the youngest, but I don't give him that choice. He's still able to show some beard that's white. Gautam's not got any part of his beard being white, so I take him as the youngest. So Gautam, you may need to tell us about your experience so far in the business. You've launched, you're relatively new also. You're also the youngest in terms of a brand. And you've launched a brand that I think is now everywhere. It's omnipresent, I think, various times. And then you also launched a brand that's going to the depths of the country in various forms. So what has been your experience with new types of cities? Because the whole topic is around various cities that happens. You can start with Tamil Nadu and then tell us what's happening elsewhere. And where are you finding value?
Thank you, sir. So see, we launched like any other brand, being a metro city brand. We launched our first store in 2014. And for the first few years, we expanded only in the metro cities. Because if you want to build a brand in tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, you have to be a brand first in Chennai, first in Bangalore, first in Hyderabad, and the other metro cities. Otherwise, you cannot be a brand in tier 2, tier 3. When we went to tier 2, tier 3, the response was very encouraging. But very soon we realized that when we are going in a COCO format in a tier 3, we are not able to get the best value out of the tier 3 city. So now as a brand, we have also started shifting, saying that, okay, can we do a semi-franchise model in a tier 3 so that that person who's sitting locally there at the store is able to drive the business. So the potential is very much there in tier 2, tier 3. The only difference is that a franchise model type of a setup in a tier 2, tier 3 will work better for the company than just being a COCO model. So now where we started off being a very company-owned, company-operated brand across so many metros, now we're slightly pivoting towards a franchise model when it comes to the interior part of the country.
Oh, interesting. Any claps for this? Coco. Now I go to the second youngest person here, which is Sohail. Also, he happens to be the chairman. I can't take panga with him. So, Sohail, you've also done a whole lot of stores. You've really penetrated to the depths of at least the southern part of the country very well. What has been your experience? And can you also add a little bit on what Gautam has said? Does it work? But firstly, what's been your experience? And then what Gautam says, does it really work for you?
Thanks, Kumar. So see, we have multiple parts of the business. We have exclusive brand outlets, then we work with MBOs, then we also work with large format stores. And today this whole metro, non-metro, that is only defined by the market size, but there's consumption everywhere. Today, you go to a Pala in Kerala, you go to a, Tiruchengodu in Tamil Nadu, right? You go to a Rajamundri in AP. All of them today have consumption, right? How we as brands reach that consumption and reach the consumer is the challenge for us. How we reach them is two ways. One is what kind of a product offering you're giving them. How customized is your product offering? So for example, Tirupur has more short sleeve shirts. Lucknow, Ludhiana will have sizes starting from medium, large, XL, double XL, going up to triple XL. So those nuances are the only things that we need to focus on. I think consumption and growth is available everywhere, throughout the country. I think it's all grown. And the reason being that today India has woken up to brands, Kumar. Everybody wants to aspire, right? And how do you show aspiration at the cheapest value possible? The most expensive value possible is when you buy a Ferrari or, a Lamborghini. Today, brands are fulfilling aspiration for all of the middle class in India, and the brand story has woken up, right? So all across the country, I don't think there are any pockets in the country where brands are not being sold. Yeah, the product offering is different, but we've penetrated all the way down, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. There are now, for us, we find pockets of 50,000 population, there'll be one MBO, and they'll want to stock our product, right? And some time back, they want to stock our product. Now, they want a shop and shop. They want a wall with branding, they want fixtures. So I think the whole consumption story is waking up, and for brands like us, for Gautam, for me, it's about how to map that consumption and how to reach that customer. How ambitious are you, and how deep can you go?
Interesting. See, now they started clapping even before you. So we go back to the thing that Gautam proposed, right? Do you see that in the third tier and fourth tier cities, it's better to give the business to somebody who is an MBO already or to a franchisee rather than creating your own COCO outlet there, your own company-owned,
yes, so I think
company-operated?
What he said without saying is that quality of manpower available in a tier 4 is still lacking, right? Training is lacking. Quality of good manpower, committed manpower, one. Second is the ability to drive those businesses. For example, now if you have 100 stores in, say you have 25 stores or 30 stores or 40 stores in tier 1 and tier 2, the next 40 stores will come from individual towns or villages for which your travel becomes difficult, for you to reach them becomes difficult, for you to spend money on training them becomes difficult. So there you're doing a quasi-franchise. The quasi-franchise is capital is mine, process is mine, effort is yours. So what happens here is you're getting an entrepreneur in residence, right, who's a quasi-employee. So you don't need him to invest too much capital. What you need is you need his effort, his consistency, his commitment to the business. Because everything else you've got in place. You've got a supply chain in place. You've got all the bits and pieces in place. What you don't have is that man at the door. And that man at the door is an entrepreneur who doesn't have money. So it's a great combination, no? For us, capital comes at a lower price, right? But effort is difficult for us to map. For him, effort comes at a cheaper price because it's him, but capital is not available. So it's a great marriage.
Oh, very good. So that means I think it's an amazing model. I've seen some of the companies really getting into this and making some money because they believe that you don't get decent employees, but you get good entrepreneurs
Yeah.
who may not have the capital, but they're okay with share of profit because their sense of ownership is more. But you are able to manage it even with a very low amount of profit. You don't necessarily need to give them a few lakhs of rupees all the month, every month. So that makes a big difference. Is that the way I can understand this?
Yep.
That's a very nice model. Sushanto, I come to you because I think many do not understand how deep and how penetrated you as a brand are. So you may need to tell us about how your brand is, where all have you opened, what is it that you've seen?
So this brand started from a small town called Jamshedpur. So first, although I am with Sarogi when he says that brand has to be first developed in metro and then it can penetrate into smaller towns. Starting from a place called Jamshedpur, which is a small town of maybe about 5-6 lakh population back in the days in 1952. It is about 16 lakhs now. We have 2 stores there. Then we moved to Calcutta, then to Delhi, then to Chennai. But predominantly, all my stores are in tier 2, tier 3. As a matter of fact, I'll show you one interesting story. We just opened a store in a place called Hajipur, which is about 20-30 kilometers from Patna. On the day of the opening, it rained, and there was water till here. So I stopped looking at the sales report. I shut my phone down as I don't care. And by the end of it, there were 2,000 people who showed up at the store, and the launch was successful. We did about 15 lakhs of revenue. We were targeting 8, we did 15. So I asked the local partner over there, what is it? Both sir, we are used to living with underwater at this time of the year, and we shop, we drive, we go to school in this only. So nothing, I'm not petrified of this. Like I was petrified.
Oh, that deserves a clap. Yeah. That's learning.
That's
Right.
learning from a local partner you can't get. My boys were upset, my marketing team was upset. I was obviously upset. Now, talking about Madurai, since we moved here about 15 years back, we did about one exhibition a couple of years back, and I'm going to again talk about revenue. We did about, I think, 14 lakhs in 3 days. We do on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Didn't make money. We went back after 6 months. We did about another 17 lakhs in 3 months. We still didn't make money. This time we got the long weekend with the 15th August thing. We tried it for 4 days. We did 28 lakhs of revenue, which is more than my Purushottam store, which does about 25-30 lakhs a month. A city like Madurai, no brand presence yet, just local marketing, digital marketing. That is the kind of consumption I'm talking about. When you go local.
There the question is, what make that big shift in Madurai?
knows.
Why did suddenly so many customers come in?
God
So what
knows.
is the learning?
God knows. No. God knows. Consumption, as Sohail says, there's consumption. You have to be there and present it.
I think it's about trust. In many ways, customers saw you once, twice, you didn't run away from there. Then they said, "Arey, these people really want to be here and to serve us."
About 10-15% of the people knew the brand.
Yeah.
And the rest were all driven by advertising, and they just came, and it was fantastic. And now we are thinking of opening a store. I was shaky about whether or not to open over there, but now we are pretty much confident. That's the kind of insight we got. And we're looking for a local partner there. As soon as we get one, we'll do it.
Wow, that's interesting. Now we'll go to Sunil. Sunil's got a slightly different business. Anybody in this room who's shopped in Sunil's store at all? Raise your hands. Oh, most of you. So Sunil, you don't have to really sell your brand, but the point is you're also expanding. I think in the morning when I was speaking to you, said, frankly, business is happening because I'm expanding. So where do you expand? Where do you find most value happening?
See, currently, right now, what we are focusing is on going to the tier 2 towns. Like we just recently opened Tirchi, and we are going to open the next store in Madurai. So we are trying to target the potential markets. Like next market could be. We are working on is the Hosur, Velur. These are the towns which we are going to focus on for the next 3 to 6 months' time. The basic reason for us is actually what we see, the tractions coming from the tier 2 towns, and the ROI is much better than the working in the major metro cities. Because the kind of aspirations we see, the brand tractions happening from that local crowd is very huge. So in fact, that is one of the primary reasons we are trying to focus onto the tier 2 towns rather than working on the metro cities like going to Bangalore or Hyderabad. That's going to happen simultaneously, but then more focus is on going into the tier 2 towns where the market is ready. It's only a question of reach.
Very interesting. In fact, I heard this 3 times today from various people saying that while we think that there is not enough business in some of these towns, the fact is that the customers are all on the same level. They are also wanting the same level of aspirations. You bring it to them at their place, they are really happy to take it and then are also willing to kind of endorse it and come back into the store again and again. Bala, if some of you have not gone to his brand, then he's going to give you free lunch.
Absolutely.
Many of you know that Bala has been always involved with Retailers Association of India in various forms, but he does work with Junior Kuppanna and he's kind of taken Junior Kuppanna from where it was to where it is today. Bala, do you want to tell us what's been the success behind JK to where it was to where it is today? And what have you learned there?
So JK has been from a small town, Erode, but it's staple food in Tamil Nadu, sir. So if you look at non-veg, there are only 2-3 names that people can think about. Fortunately, JK has got that brand visibility to be in that top 3. So for us, what we see is we are right now in about 25 towns. We are overall about 49 stores. There are 234 constituencies in Tamil Nadu. I keep saying this again and again. That means that there are enough people to vote. That's why there is 234. So we see 234 junior Kuppannas that can be in Tamil Nadu. So that's our goal. I think we want to dig deeper into Tamil Nadu because the taste profile keeps changing. You can clap for 234. He has a hamper, so I want to snatch it from Sohail, sir. He's got more claps than us. So for us as staple food, we need to go deeper into Tamil Nadu. So that's the thought, sir.
Very interesting. We did touch a bit about people, and I think Sohail said that there is possibility of not getting right kind of people in such places. It's a bit of a dichotomy in my mind, because on the one hand, these kinds of places should be having human beings. On the other hand, we are saying that they are not possibly capable of really working with us immediately. So my question is to any one of you can answer, you just need to kind of say, I can answer. Question is, what can be done to kind of bridge this gap? Because you need people for retail business. I can see that fastest fingers first. Already Sohail has got his thing in his hand. So what can be done? Where can things go as far as people is concerned? How can we make them more productive? How can we get people in these places?
So Kumar, actually as a businessman, I want to solve the problem that I can solve the fastest, right?
Yeah.
So the truth here is, you're saying, how do I train people? How do I bring a certain set of people to the standard I want? I want to flip that question. How do I find the people that I want to work with? So I think for me, it's an easier problem to solve because there's a consumer to be served, right? There's apparel to be sold, right? And there are, as it is, a laundry list of problems that we are all solving as businessmen. Do you really want to look for more problems or do you want to look for more solutions? So I would say that, if the trained manpower is not available right now, I'll take an entrepreneur in residence. And as the business progresses, I'll solve that problem when it comes. But for me, at the end of the day, I need to serve my customer, right? And I need to be profitable. So for me, in that pecking order, I'd rather solve the problems that I can solve quickly than take a long tail problem.
Interesting. Is there anybody in the panel who've got addition to this?
Sir, see, I think with people is a problem, whether in the bigger cities or smaller cities, is a consistent problem everywhere. The one thing what we've seen in Gokulas is the consistency of people with you for a long period of time. In our type of retail business, if you're able to get a back-end employee or a front-end employee to work with you for more than 3-4 years, the output of that person is very high. So the consistency of one person in your organization plays a very key role as far as the word people is concerned. Second thing about domain expertise, like when I'm hiring people in Gokula, I see sincerity over domain knowledge. If you're able to get sincere people, they pick on the job very fast. So I think sincerity and consistency, if you're able to get in a person over a period of time, that reaps benefits. So that's why for us also, when we built Gokulas, people were surprised how we were able to build out of Chennai. We got the right talent and we got the people working in an organization for more than 5 years, 6 years. That helps.
Interesting. No? No claps? Okay. Sunil's got a point.
See, I think in Mahatriya's word, he always says that one of the primary key skills we require to become a successful entrepreneur is a people skill. I think people skill is one resource. I think we need to identify the right people and see that the person should be staying with us rather than going out, because it needs a lot of time, effort, money to build a person. And you cannot lose them as easily. In fact, we are proud to say that, in fact, our organization, we are seeing almost zero attrition. For the simple reason, we bring the employees, the staffs, our teams to the lower level, and we try to see that they elevate in about 3 to 4 times to some extent that they can get a good salary. So we are seeing almost zero attritions today. In fact, people go out of our stores and they start some of their own business also.
For anybody who wants to know how to retain people like this, you can talk to him separately also. I think it's amazing. In a country where most of the retailers keep telling that they've got at least 100% staff turn in a year. Yeah, most people do. I've not seen too many people who say I've got only 25% staff turn in a year. He's saying I've got retention of this kind. So it's amazing. We'd like to know more about it, but obviously he's going to charge a big fee, but it's still worth it. So thank you, Sunil. Thanks for that. I think there must be things that you're doing for them to make them feel like staying back with you. Also, they must be getting some domain expertise that's making them do what they're doing. Sushant's got a point.
I just had a thing to add to Sunil. One particular store of mine kept on losing its employees, the manager was changing, the stock guys were running out, the salesmen were running out. So we sent an audit team to see what was going on. So when my store operates from 9 to 9, 10 to 10 is 12 hours of work. And you have your breakfast, you have your lunch, and in the evening at 5 o'clock, all of you get hungry, I get hungry, we eat a little snack in our house. So we tell our franchises, if they listen to us fine, that you give them a tiffin for 10, 15 rupees, whatever it is, bread, jam, omelette, biscuit, chai. That guy wasn't doing it. Since he wasn't doing it for a year, people kept on running, and for this 15 rupees, his revenues came down almost 1 CR a year. At this is the insight we got about retention. As soon as we change that, he's back to normal again.
Absolutely amazing. Sometimes
15
Sometimes you lose people not because there is a problem with manager, not because of something else, only because these are youngsters who really feel hungry at 5:30. In fact, I remember going to Sarfraz's place. Is Sarfraz here from LK? So I once had gone there in the evening, and I saw a whole lot of people sitting there and then eating their evening snacks inside that store on the side. And I was quite amazed. And he said, let's also go and eat. Because he was also accustomed to going and eating with them at that time when that was happening. And that mere thought of getting something to eat at 5:36 makes a big difference to the way people feel. So I think sometimes it's not big problems that's actually creating this worry for you. It's a very small thing that you've got to address and make them, because you're not really capable of sending them out, getting them to eat, plus they can't go out and eat every day. They can bring their lunch, but they can't get their evening snack with them. It's an amazing input, absolutely amazing input.
And Sunday's special tiffin, chicken roll or chicken chow mein, for non-vegetarian.
Sunday special
The
chicken.
sale goes up, the tiffin budget goes up.
Can work with checking.
I have to return about 500 cups that's lying in my office to you. Right?
So you've got a business also happening here. Now he's going to come out with a special thing only for retailers to say, I will take care of this 5:30 snack time. Is that done? See, this is collaboration. So anybody who wants to get the 5:30 snack done, Chai King is here. Fantastic. Or of course, Junior Kuppanna also possibly there. Are you there? Okay, so
Mutton samosa.
mutton samosa. Okay, well done. So Bala, you may want to add to this whole people thing, because I think in the sector that you are in, the food sector, very important to keep the people with you. So what are the things that can really work to retain people?
I think for us, definitely, when we compare a bigger city and a Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, we have seen better loyalty in Tier 2 cities, for sure. So that's to start off with. And secondly, I think in terms of consumer also, when we look at people, they have more loyalty in Tier 2 cities. So for us, in terms of Tier 2 and Tier 3, the biggest challenge has been in growth is how to, modify the product or localize the product without making it unscalable. So keeping a balance between scalability and yet customizing to a Sivakasi or a Tindivanam or something like that. So that's been the biggest challenge. So people-wise, I feel that in smaller towns, we are in a better wicket as businessmen, both in consumers and in employees. But in terms of modifying your offering, when you are a large brand, when you are scaling, we want the cookie cutter to remain, but yet be sensitive to that local. Going to Madurai and not doing a good parota is something that you can't do, right? So you just need to take care of that local area nuances.
Very, very interesting, because this is second time that this happened on the panel. Once Suhail said that when you go to some of these places, you've got to relook at the kind of options that you provide to the customers. You also talked about sizes becoming different in some of these places. And we've got Bala saying that in some of these places, you may need to relook at the taste and what is the local customs,
Product
what
mix,
will appeal to
pricing,
them, product,
everything.
and the pricing also. So it's, again, I mean, come on, this needs a clap. Because not everybody can be a McDonald's. And so you've got to start thinking that you've got to localize to make things happen. Even McDonald's, when they came into the country, and I remember sitting in McDonald's offices, this whole aloo tikki and this whole thing about spice, and he said, I'm making spice with chipotle sauce in it. And when they experimented, I was lucky enough to taste the first set of spicy burgers that they were going to introduce in Delhi. And he said, listen, this is what happened in India, because unless I do this in India, it's not going to fly off. Also in India, beef doesn't work. And they had to really relook at it. So even a company as large as McDonald's had to do something to take care of local taste. And so this is as important that for us to really take, merely because we got a good model in one place, doesn't guarantee us benefits in the other. I'm going to ask a last question because I think the time's going to go off. Is there any learning that you can tell us from your ability or understanding of what's happening online? Many of you are also doing businesses online. Does that give you new leads to do business differently? Does it give you new leads to relook at how we want to offer things in a particular place?
So, sir, see, I think from an online business perspective, today there's a lot of rush behind quick commerce. And we also seeing for our kind of product that today if a lady is ordering a legging from our website or from a Myntra or Flipkart, are they able to get the product within a day? So we've also activated our omni-channel stores where can we deliver within 3 hours or 4 hours? Yes, there's an additional cost of transportation and freight in that, but if margins permit and you're able to absorb that cost of freight, enabling quick commerce is very, very important. Today, the reason the lady and the customer is buying online is because they want the product within the same day. Otherwise, for them, going to retail and buying is not so difficult. So today, one of the experiences we've had is that can we have a time delivery time within 12 hours we are able to deliver? I think that is something which, as a brand, we've been working on.
Quite amazing. Bala.
So online, we operate on the franchisee operated model in our smaller towns, like what Sohail sir said, having an owner in place. They have been very skeptical of Swiggy and Zomato, so we've been trying to tell them that we need to change that thought. But eventually, I think online will also get as much as penetration. Right now, we are 70-30 in larger cities. Smaller cities, it's less than 5%. Eventually, we'll get there. But what is the other thing is when you look at online itself, not just commerce, but the whole discovery of the brand and the engagement. Now with the YouTube and Instagram, I think there are so much more consumers of Insta and YouTube in smaller cities that they understand your brand through online, and they might come to the nearest Junior Kuppanna store and have your biryani and chicken soup. But you need to keep them engaged online. That's where we.
Very interesting. Sunil?
See, I think I firmly believe in omnipresence. It does not matter whether it's a physical store or e-com or a Q-com. End of the day, business is there in all the three verticals. So it's a question of now how do you want to position? Because for me, this argument of online versus offline, the phygital part, has been going for last almost 12, 13 years. And not much great change has happened after now this Q-commerce has come, which is the biggest disruption, I would say. Post, I think, been long time. So Q-commerce has definitely created a lot of disruption in the market, but in a way it's an opportunity for every phygital presence people to be into all the three verticals so that you have to reach to the consumers. I think for us, e-com was, we basically went into e-com, we have been in e-com for last about 12 years. And the primary reason for us was our customers base who was there in Chennai, they started moving to say Bangalore or Gurgaon or some other part of the country. They wanted our products to be bought. So that was the primary reason we got into it. But now Q-commerce has become more local, hyper-local. So now we, in fact, before Diwali, we had launched our mobile app also. So we are trying to see that wherever there is an opportunity, wherever there is a gap, if because for the convenience reasons my customer is going out, that's not the right thing to do. So might as well be present in all the formats so that the customer is not, at least my customer is not going out. It's my primary responsibility.
Sir, I just want to add, just to adding to what Sunil sir said, today retailers who are having 200 stores, 300, 400 stores, they can do better quick commerce than even Flipkart and Amazon because of the in-depth presence. Today, if you enable the replenishment and omni-channel through your stores and probably send it through a blue dart, again, if margins prevail and you're able to absorb that cost of freight, why not? You'll deliver faster than Amazon and Flipkart. So actually enabling omni-channel like what Sunil sir said is a very good idea.
I think Sushant had something to say? You had to add something.
So, being online is like a necessary evil now. One more avenue to spend your ad budget in, which you don't have. And then for us, the problem is the cost of delivery. Because the shoes are voluminous, the cost of delivery was never calculated when we started. We've been doing this business for 7 years, then e-commerce, bang, hits you in the face. And then the cost of shipping all the shoes from all the manufacturing places to Chennai, and the cost of shipping out those shoes individually to customers is triple in my case. So therefore, I don't think I'm making any money right now. So we have to source it differently, give different products. But there's no way around it. You have to do it. You just have to change your way around it. And the cost of delivery, one more thing, we tied up with the post office, believe it or not. So you can ship it free, and the return, ship it for a cost, and the return is free. So you will do sign up with them. You'll send a bunch of money over there.
Okay, you learned something there. You can use the post offices. So
the next big thing in quick commerce is actually food, because you can't postpone hunger. There are many startups that are working in this space to enable to deliver a biryani in 10 minutes. We are working with few of them. Let's hope that in the next quarter we get biryani and stuff delivered in 10 minutes in your pin code.
Oh, fantastic. Currently, of course, there are people sitting here telling, I want my biryani in the next 5 minutes. It's going to come to you. No, sorry, you'll have to go to that, but you'll still get your 5 minutes biryani. Fact is that customers, if they decide they want to buy something, they want it now. Fact is that customers are wanting you every time, everywhere, and you should be available. In some of the stores that are there, it just makes sense to also put up a QR code there, which will make customers immediately look at, where can I buy this online? So many a times we keep thinking that the cost of bringing customers online is difficult, but if we've got lots of 200 stores, even if every store has got 100 customers coming in, you've still been able to get so many customers to come online and buy from you. You are creating customer centricity because you're telling them, I'm available to you 24/7, and that makes a big difference. Some of you are not already on Open Network for Digital Commerce. Currently, ONDC is also enabling some QR codes, just like UPI payments, at the store level. So you can tell customers, you buy me on ONDC. The cost of supply, the cost of delivery comes down drastically because it's Open Network for Digital Commerce. So I also had to add some value there. Clap if you want. So,
Kumar, I just want to add here that, see, we largely look upon ourselves as offline retailers. And I think it's a very dangerous trap.
yes. Absolutely.
You know, and that's one. Second is, see, an average store of mine costs 60, 65 lakhs. I don't know, maybe Gautam's costs maybe around the same, you know. Sushant is probably 1 or 2 crores. You ask me to open 10 stores in a year, I'll open. You ask me to spend 1 crore on e-commerce, I'll think twice. And I think that the call of the hour, it's very important, is that all of us as retailers make a commitment to be online. Your entire offering should be available, because what happens here is, see, we are today's heroes. If we don't do this, no, Kumar, all the online guys are going to come, open a store next to us, become omni-channel retailers and eat our lunch.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I think that commitment from the top management that my online mein paisa dalunga, I'll put money, right? I will go the distance, and I will calculate this after 5 years, but I will commit myself mentally to online. I will not take a step back is very, very crucial, and it's a call of the hour.
Sir, usme one thing I'll add. We will not discount.
No,
I think that's the
I'm
biggest
not-
trap
no,
what
I'm not
online
saying-
does is.
No, I'm not telling you what to do. But I'm not telling you how to sell. But what I'm saying here is that, see, we have these preconditions, right? कि मैं ऐसा नहीं करूँगा, I won't do that. Customer is not going to wait for you and me. He'll find some other brand, he'll buy it and he'll move on, right? Unfortunately, we don't have monopolies. If I had a monopoly, then, I wouldn't have to work. But because we don't have monopolies.
No, but Gautam,
right?
the discount attitude is changing. Now we are paying a premium to get delivery on time. So we are all moving away from the discount mentality as consumers itself.
No, but the larger question here is that how many of us here are seriously committed to online? Right? If you show a raise of hands, right? How many of you are spending money on putting up a website and you have offline stores, and how much of you are committing to it? I think they'll be dead in the water in 5 years. Personally, I think if you don't have an online presence, in 5 years, you will struggle.
I think there's two very great points. A, you can't tell the customer I'm not available to you online. Two, thinking that the only discount will work online is also not right. In fact, people from Bala's industry are charging a premium. Most of us are still buying on Zomato and Swiggy, knowing that if we go to the restaurant, it's cheaper. If we eat it at home and we call it home, it's expensive. Gone are the days when if you call for home, they'll give you 10% discount. Now they are charging you a premium and still they are able to sell. So I think that's a big amount of capability that we'll need to take up from there. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I think it's already time's up. They are going to, if this was useful, you know what to do. Thank you so much.